How's it going, guys? Severio, we're back here. Took a little bit of time. Well, not intentionally. It was because I was working and I had last week be mad hectic. Why is there a spider crawling down from my ceiling? This spider is just chilling. Guys, I just witnessed a spider crawling from the ceiling and falling on my desk as of starting in the recording. That's actually insane. But more importantly, we are going right into day two for trios in the week two for biweekly spring split for 2024, and a lot of things from work kind of dilapidated me from being able to just work on the video right after because I want to be able to be concise in my thought process, or rather not be completely disheveled when it comes to these type of analysis to kind of garnish what you guys would prefer and being concise with my information. There's no music right now. Shout out to Raven, PLZ specifically. He actually had just recently, he went over with Moxie in terms of the MVPs and then watching the MVPs back from the NBPL solos and trios and just watching their gameplay. And I was noticing on Billy that that's where he was watching it. But I asked him because I was working and I'm more consistently, now things are now a little bit more leveled down where I can continue recording these during the time that I can. And I asked him if it was possible, and he said, yeah, you're here. He's like, you can find on my Billy. You go to the channel, you'll be able to see this. Now, the reason I wanted to see this more so is because cross communication can kind of happen. I'm not saying that, oh man, it's someone who understands the language, because I have this bot from Billy is in Chinese, so what you'll say or what you hear is in English, and it won't be cross divisioning it. But it also allows for me to have the game audio on. That's my main goal, just to have the game audio on, and then not be overpowered. Whether not to say like it's overpowering, but when there's two other people talking at the same time, right, and I'm talking over them, so that like it doesn't cross barriers of that. But we do have this into going through. Shout out to Raven for being able to provide that. That way, I'm not saying the music is a bad thing, and having it on standby, but it does really put better emphasis when you can hear the game audio, honestly. So for that, I really enjoyed that happening. Now, quality of this is going to be a little bit more shysta. It's going to be a little bit poopy from what I'm seeing here. So if I can, I'll see about actually getting this into a better. And they actually have that. It's pretty good. Let me see if I can do some quality checks real quick. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, we got it. We got quality now, and we're dropping in here. So first down selections, we are gonna see a sand siphon coming out here. Remember, this is in day two. We have Holoroth, if you guys aren't aware, into round one. Rounds 1 through 3 are Holoroth maps between sunny, cloudy, sunny, and then Morris Isle is for the remaining 3 rounds, which is from rounds 4 through 6. Those ones are going to be dusk, night, and dusk in terms of those area maps. So keep that in mind when it comes down towards it. But you can actually see Wolves opting in for into a snowball comp coming from the Justina Weishan and the Otohime as a first round pick. I'm pretty sure this is just to make sure that they can attest to seeing, like, the only reason you would want to make sure you can run this comp in the first round selection, if they decide to do so, is that if the second round decides to run Cannonball comp, it won't expend them any points, or rather, it won't cost them any set round of points. But the thing is that we've been seeing Sand Siphon first, Attack on Titan second, Cannonball third. That's how we've been seeing it, usually. So unless they didn't want to take the risk of losing out on not using on the potential of having to expend 2 hero points, and by going straight into snowball comp with the Weishan and the Yodohime, both of which that are complementary in the Cannonball comp as well, would be a set reason as to why they would choose in the first round, just in case if second round goes through. But usually you do see White Viper, Wuchen Teslas here, which you do see out of 3 teams. This will cause a point increase for the third round if they're going to decide to go it. But since Cannonball is still available for no round point increase, they can actually just rock it. Yeah. And it just comes out here. Um, Also, let me know how the audio levels are compared to with the casters, with the Chinese commentators, because those guys are OP in terms of their casting. So we're actually gonna take a sneak peek into that too for these. All right, so it's kind of crazy that the FPX is in third round, yet they still decide to rock into the Sand Siphon. They have no real loss of value. I mean, this is only 2 points. It's not like a double down. It's very rare where you see two rows of choice picks where they're absolutely garnishing a comp. Like if we saw Sand Siphon coming off of round, like if we saw Sand Siphon coming off of like 5 or more chosen of the comps, like even if it could switch around between Kurumi and Ziping, Takeda and Temi make sandbox comp. If we were to see 5 of those be chosen into round selections between 1 and 2, that would be super rare. Like there's no other reason for someone to want to use that unless they just want to lose their points and then throw out a wild haymaker comp later on. But let's take a look in the scene about their skill choices here. V1 for Justina for Wolves as it is, and we're gonna see a V2 from Lane from ALL. A V1 opt-out for JDG as FPX rocked the V2 as well. See, V2 comes with that extra stamina engagement skill. I don't know how else to explain it. It conserves stamina that's lost from enemy Temis. Enemy Tumultuous using your ultimate. You use your ultimate if it's a V2, which gives you energy replacement or replenishment for those Temis that just go into the team. Now, DRG is opting in here for an F2 silence for the Viper Ning with a V1 just to guarantee someone to get locked down, really get a stun off if they can. It's a really difficult outlay, though, where V2 or V1 F2 Vipers, they have a really hard time trying to lock down an opponent that would be more of a threat than others. For instance, if they fight their own comp, Wu Chen can get the team out, but Tessa could ignore a good portion of that aggression coming out from the Viper, where the Tessa ultimate could grab multiple enemy teammates, and if they're not quick with catching the disenchants, then this would put them in a spot where they can just turn it around by wasting time. Like this comp could waste time for the enemy team by like a second or two, but they just need to, or 3 seconds if the enchant goes off, and then they only have 2 seconds to prioritize in getting damage because the enchant duration is 3 seconds. If the whole team or half the team is stunned, or one or two players are stunned from the enemy team, maybe the third can be that salvation. The prophecy is true, and a V3 F3 Viper shows up and extinguishes everybody because they can't use skills. All they can do is hold blue focuses and release them. But it really does come down towards the placement. If DRG can do this really well, it would be because Sand Siphon comp. If they can try to lock down the Takeda for not using Fury and Blast, and the only thing that stops, not say stops, but the only thing that would give a reason for Temi to ult is because he wants to deny the enemy team from being able to ambush out Takeda. It will then also force the V2 from Ziping if she's not silenced. And if she is able to use that ultimate, right, then this expends 2 ultimates. If Temi uses his ult to be able to go through, if he's holding it while the stun duration comes off, then he can push back everybody and being able to come back right into it. But another thing about this is that if you do burn those ultimates, 1 or 2, right, if Temi's holding on, right, and Zip has to pop ult because she wants to make sure that Takeda is safe, she throws an F1 at him, and you see them being able to kind of lock him down still. The fact that the Viper has spent more time in those couple of seconds trying to allow for the ultimate to come off instead of being on ground uniform, like if she had V3 F3, is a testament to seeing about whether or not the stun is now more viable. Because I don't even want to go into Cannonball comp, because every single person you see in Cannonball comp can iframe through the Viper, no matter which way you slice it. Like it's Yorohime can teleport through the stun, right? Fairy Shannon can use her beacon, or even use a beacon for a teammate to iframe through while the transformation process is happening. And in Wei Shan's with V3 would be able to come out towards guarding the whole team from stuns outright. Now, there's rare cases, right? And this is where the Wei Shans, right? Then that's why you see Wei Shans like Lee from J Team. He rocked V1 in day one as well. Where V1 Wei Shan is a response to the lack of Viper V1s. Where he's like, there's no stun. I'm gonna take the chance of being offensive with it. Now, there's a problem with this kind of where it's like it's not just though to Vipers. It's because not only does Lee say that against Vipers, but he's also gonna do that in the face of danger against Tumultuous, which I don't know if that's really an option that he should be wanting to take. But if it's necessary for his team to kind of stay alive by doing the damage, right? Then if he opts for the defensive way, then that gives his whole team a way to pass through the barrier without being caught into not infinite wisps, but getting caught into that wall where the enemy team can take blue focuses towards his allies' faces. So whether or not we see that, I'm not sure, because J Team Lee can actually get just, he can really dominate the ground unit form while Zem is actually just slashing and keeping them propelled. And then with XLY silenced, that way he can deny anyone from the distance. This is, for example, for that team, but also to the extension of an offensive Wei Shan. Because you can see every single other Wei Shan has been rocking V3. No questions. You see Fat Milk use it. You see FX from JL. You see TE's LYD. Like, these guys are using V3 for a reason, because Tumultuous are like, Vipers aren't the only threat. It's Tumultuous and, rare cases of Valda. But let's take a look to the spawns here. WBG and JL, they're going to be spawning right close towards the Salvation Podium, while we see J Team and JDG all the way out west towards the Camel's Hump. Now, into Alliances and FPX position, they're really spread out, but there's Firefly cages in between from these areas. If any of these teams in between those two find their way towards the Yushan Ruins and even towards Icy Shard Lake, they should be able to combat one another. But BBE, EWG, they're over by the city of Tong, mostly for the finances. They're going to be breaking a lot of boxes really fast to try to get a purchase off of Moonbane, and then once that happens, they can go off of one another, or they can just make the rotation towards other well-known spots to be spawned on, such as the Salvation Podium into Plume Castle. Now, you can see Imperial Village is a little bit crazy right now. OUG, Wolves, TE, and if I'm not mistaken, DRG, they're all over there just, they're just chillaxing and making their positions to be known over there. But the thing about Imperial Village is it's all about the gear and the trees in the backline. Like, where you go to the waterfall to get gear, it's since it's a cold area, there's more increased trode frequency. So you'll have these guys actually just go here just because OUG's in Beast Pen. There's gold or green troves there, and they can make their way westbound, like over into this region. You will be able to just move around these tents and yurts, getting gear, getting loot, setting up traps, and then TE on the same end near the tower. Or they'll go through the same process of just looting out any boxes to be broken, and then getting into the yurts, and then just being able to break anything to their advantage of gold benefit. But it will be pretty good to see where the spawns are for DRG, especially because they're pretty close. And they're outside. They're hitting the waterfall. Not the waterfall. They're hitting the river, the downstream, coming down from the waterfall on the northeastern end. So if they're spawning over there for boxes and just catching the ravine or catching the bridge, they could find chances. They could make their way towards the Frigid Ice Pool or Frigid Lake if that's their intention. I don't know, because that downstream is kind of difficult to kind of get out of, especially if they get hit. But it looks like they're right in the heart of the yurt. Let's take a look. Scene. Fan off the rip. Nice. Okay, weapons already acquired. Common rarity, but of course that's all you can do in the beginning, usually. Teddy really going in engagement. He actually activated F1 here. No more grapples. F3's out. No, that's not F3. Is that F3? Yeah, it's F3. Lee caught Tutty. P is down by XLY, who sold him. But then Kiki actually finds his R&B. Hold on a second. Alright, Dragon Slayer came out, but Kiki got hit, and then Lee made a mistake, I think, of switching over to Tutty. He should have connected still towards Kiki. Because at this point, Lee is actually just eating. Look at Lee's health, right? Like, there's nothing gonna stop him from continuing. Like he can't catch Tuddy. Like, he was trying to anticipate the distance between him. He was trying to anticipate the distance between him and his opponent, and thinking he can switch over to him. Right, like after that first initial hit, he's like, "Oh yeah, I got him." But he was gonna take some hits off of him regardless. Now either or, Zem was inside his F3, so the distance right there, you can actually see, took time to switch from Kiki straight on towards Tuddy, and Tuddy was like, "I'm still okay." But I think Zem would have been able to peel off Tuddy off of that end, even with a hit stagger. Possibly, I don't know. I think honestly, if that RMB still went off, he would have been able to get struck. But if he moved towards the direction of Kiki, he would have been keeping that kill. But lo and behold, XLY though finishes off Pi Square, but JDG is gonna get that res off of Pi, or PB, or Pi. We'll be able to get the res. Let's go back to the audio. Now TE are pretty stoked about this round and today too, because now they're up against, for the first day playing, they are going to be playing up against OUG. OUG had probably one of the best day ones. It's kind of scary how much you can set a lead on in terms of a day one. They did 2 games better than the worthwhile effort of some teams in one whole session of 2 days of playing. But TE really have it out in terms of making sure they can try to get their chance back. Because remember, even though JL has VVV on their roster, it's still to their benefit now that OUG now that TE now has a chance of like, all right, let's get that same momentum to come out here. They can make it happen, honestly. But when they lose out those key players, it really does make a change. It's like a sports draft where you lose the key players, but somehow the team still kind of revolves still. Even though they'll have a rough standing for a couple of years, or for instances a couple of a year, a couple of weeks or months, like they'll get used to it as fast as they can into the NBPL scene, or like into the pro league, into the pro scene. But EWG gets full control into City of Tong. A lot of gold being picked up out that end from those skills. And you can see over into the Serpent's Pass. Remember how I said FPX and ALL, they'll make their way towards one another? It's because of the Firefly cages. There's 2 or 3 of them between the distance here. Into Serpent's Pass especially, from the northern end. But a Moonbane here from FPX, as they were able to grab that Moonbane early on. Knocks out Lane. And you can see Dongqing trying to keep down on Revenge. This is like there's so much aspects in in trios where if you're left by yourself, you cannot 1v3. Like you can't 1v3 all the time. There's very few heroes that can take the opportunity. Like Takeda can definitely take the opportunity of trying to 1v3, but then what happens is that the enemy teammates will take distance to their own matters at hand. So let's see what Bo has up to stand, because he gets parried, he loses that pole sword, he picks it up, he tries to pick it up. But then with his Moonbane, right, they're distancing and pushing him towards the Moonbane. He finds ult at the right opportune moment right outside of this. Tries to go for the pole sword. Pushes back to Fan with the R&B. Hold checks if he can, but gets parried. Or gets a parry off of Dongqing. Still has his R&Bs. Dongqing uses ult in response because he knows he doesn't want to get this elimination. So he gets himself the Soul Bloom. And last push comes out here from Bo. But with Dongqing's ult as the enemy Takeda, having not say a panic ultimate, but he had to at least not give the enemy that ultimate. Like if he had found that elimination on Dongqing, like if it was like a case scenario where someone would say it's just 1 kill. If Dongqing would have went down, if Bo would have able to pick up that Soul Bloom, his sustain off of the enemy fights between Xiaohu and Water would have forced their ultimates on top of it, which isn't what they kind of want to do. They want to just use one at this point. So it might as well be Cicada here, because those 2 ultimates are super utility based. Where his is the offensive ultimate, and it could be you can use V3 Takeda as a utility ult as well. Don't get me wrong, because you can push it off of enemies, but it's more so about where you would use 2 utility based ultimates, where Temi can just lock down a whole area, and Zipping Yin gives you some rage, 70% activation of just being able to give your team another chance of fighting, because they can have a Mortal Defiance proc at the end of the day. We'll have to see. Turn the volume. Let me know. Let me. It should be pretty good. JL actually making their nice way towards from the Metop region down towards Fortress of Kaviani. So that is a good, interesting side for them.
滚到中期之后慢慢发育，然后拿下一些击败分，最后再进回阳镜。那个时候其实你的装备已经领先场上。No eliminations
for WBG. OUG has 3 eliminations so far with FPX as well as with EWG, 2 for JDG and TE, who are still looking for the res. And then you do have Wolves in J team at 1 kill each. But we're going into the Manicore, not the Manicore Arena. Is it the Manicore Arena? Yeah, the Manicore Arena. JL gets found out by JDG. TXJ goes to the sky, has R&B ready, looks towards Teddy, who looks for the parry. Careful positions here, right here. Remember what I said? I don't know if you guys have seen week 1, but Yodos are the game of chicken. They will rush in. If they don't, the Yodos are the ones to engage. Period. Because the thing about Yodos is that with an F2 being able to be recasted, she can really just initiate with a blue focus into it from a skill, and then reverse Uno card when she gets caught out, because then she can gold focus hit someone with the F2, like right here. TXJ goes right in here, right? Counter grapple, pushing, coming in. Look what happens. Like, this is where Yodo's really come to shine out into the fights. Now it's up to this. Now, after the recast, she has nothing except for her ultimate. Now it's up to her to be now in the face of fire, to look to her teammates like, listen, I'm hoping that you guys can support me in this endeavor. I have an offer, winning. But the problem is that when you catch one opponent, it's a case scenario for when the enemy team can find that right spot of, like, interjecting. But when you're in the middle of 2 opponents, the spotting right now for Tuddy, for instance, is to have the audacity to decide on ulting at whatever point he thinks is right. Because if he ults coming into this fight as TXJ just rushes right in, Tuddy would have to find the time to ult where it's not to the loss. Because if FX finds ultimate later on, right, it's not because, like, FX doesn't have ult right now, right? But if the Weishan were to ult later on, then he wouldn't be able to push back the Weishan. If VVV dropped the beacon on the TXJ the moment he ults early on, he would lose full value off of Takeda, where he would then have to focus on the Weishan or the Fairy-Shan if he can. But the Weishan, if he had ult, in his mind, he doesn't know whether or not he has ult. He has to assume that the Weishan has ult. And it's up to Tuddy to delay as long as he can, to delay his ultimate cast so long as it seems to make sure that when the enemy team has their abilities down, that he's in full control of the fight and situation. Either that or to Temmy's position, because Temmy can't stop Fairy-Shan moving in and out of the circle, nor can he stop Weishan from being ulted or being ult form. But uses F1 here. You're going to see the Kurumi circle dropping immediately from Kiki as TXJ has himself getting caught out. We're going to see whether or not there's going to be a beacon drop. Not going to happen. Ult shot comes out here for quick bow shots. Tuddy finds it. Gets parried, though, from FX. Gets his staff back up. Jabbing's revealed. Weishan ult comes out. Now Tuddy sees 2 ultimates here. Weishan is going to be, Weishan's going to be focusing out towards PP, or not PP. From PP. But VVV is also on chase duty here, and it comes down towards Temmie to be showcased here once this ultimates are almost near to completion. Now PP's down. Takeda ultimate's out. Right, Kiki, or not the Takeda, not the Tumult, but from the Kurumi, because she had ult casted early on. But you can see Kiki went towards, I believe Kiki actually went towards looting? Question mark? Probably. Yeah, looted out TXJ's body. You can see the blue armor dropped right there. Had F3 activated on PP, but who had activated ult early on to deny region. I think was he region locking this? No, he was in his own individual fight with the Fairy-Shan, which he forced ult, which gives VVV that full advantage to look for this chase against the Temmie. Yeah. Okay. Now it's up to Tuddy, right? Like I said, Tuddy's been holding on to Takeda. He's the one person that can kind of make or break a difference of pushing back enemies and putting the force on now. VV gets caught out here from the R&B into the Takeda push. VV looking for the soul bloom. He'll find it. Tuddy finds his chance for another jabbing. Dodges out from Weishan launch down. Another jabbing. Jump LMB confirms the kill. See? Ground units is his speciality. Goes for another jabbing. Finds a kill off of FX. Back-to-back eliminations like that, though. It's massive. So you can see where I mean by where Takedas can find the time. Don't always panic ult. Usually, there's rare case instances where you're in a spot where you could get decimated in one fell swoop, but that really just comes down to like launch attacks like the Wayshawn, where the enemy team can then just keep rubber band and boost towards you like RMB fans or RMB pulse swords, and it just came down from one Wayshawn ult. But there was only a Yodohime ult, Yodohime skill, and not enough close ended teammates to be there. So it is a very interesting take to see for Takeda's. They're like, oh, when do I ult, you know? And then that's where Teddy kind of came out to play for that. But I mean, circumstantial, right? Pi squared. PP used his ultimate against the Farius Shen to lock her down, so that way she couldn't cast. Well, she can cast ultimates outside of it, but she can't shoot F3 shots towards it, so she doesn't. That way they can't interrupt. But you can see how Teddy was able to find bow shots off of the Orihime once they were low enough, where TXJ was out of his disposition, I guess you could say. Like, he was really out there when the spots came where he closed in with the F2, and then he kind of developed pushing them into his domain, but not in the right way, where his team could really assist him. Because VVV was super distance out. Now back to this. OUG tries to initiate off of Wolves. This is a clear-cut ultimate coming out. V3 giving no ultimate cast. Now that, oh man, that's tough. ZK couldn't do anything. No flashes, no dashes, no nothing. EG secondary, Razor Swift comes out here, and Zem is down in just one fell swoop. Wolf, I don't know what happened. Was Zem trying to Moonbane? He is. Yeah, that's why. Spent too. Then I say spent. He can't spend. And I say he can't spend too much time, but this two-man fight into 2v3. We know it's gonna be 2v3. They already locked it down. Hey, pass Moonbane. And this is a Viper Witch and Tessa comp, right? Where let's say the two teammates are fighting the team, and they find any position where it forces the Wuchen to need to teleport, because if they lock down one person outright, they would have full opportunity. Then this would force the Wuchen port, which means then this Moonbane would be used as a defensive stronghold and not offense from casting. But F3 comes out. EG looks for the LMB uppercut, not going to be confirmed for that time. V1 comes out, and U is actually putting Zem out of his out of ZK's spot, because you can see this Justina ult was used, but his armor is gone. I don't know what you did, because you didn't use F2 at any point for whatever reason until that very last second, and finds ultimate and runs right into the Yodohime Viper ult of V3, which means he's silenced throughout this whole duration. He's burning himself in the spot where he can take the time to find cover and then look for dashes out. But there's nothing here that gives them even any priority off of that Moonbane, which is tough, because OUG is rocking that Moonbane like it's theirs, but not the case. They still won their fights. J team chasing out JDG though. Rushing over to the Manicore Arena. No grapples for Zem? Alright, that feels bad. There's a shop right there, though. Make their way. They have to make their way. Supplies and everything. He finds 12 grapple. He buys 2 sets of grapples. Buys a Soul Jade. Interesting. But Wolves, they rush back to their loot. This Moonbane's up for another 3 seconds. Nice parry off of EG. Actually, let me take a look at here. Did you use F3? Yeah, he used the F3 to deny further onslaught from the Moonbane's. Well, not from the Moonbane strikes, but from them if they try to turn it around by using range shots. And also giving himself regen for the armor. I'm looking at these spawns out here for the Romiangs. EWG is making their way towards it. We do see Alliance actually on that route. Going southwest towards the White Tiger's Prow, with Morris Blessing right here by the Altar Tranquility. But we do see into FPX having Valiant Challenger that BBE is making their way and locking in towards the Snowy Forest Romiang. And over in Metop, WBG and JL They're all right there. J team there as well. I don't know who's going to combat because there's 3 teams here. There's 1 team that can make their way right now. 45 seconds. TE over by the Cinnabar Valley. DRG, I don't know if they just finished up the Salvation Podium now for the first time because if I'm not mistaken, either them or WBG were able to pick up the gold weapon, but we'll find out later on because OUG rushing into Wolves. Perry doesn't use the attack. Waits for his teammate to come in for the F3. I know that this is like EG has F3. We know EG has F3. And OUG knows that he has F3. That means he has no combo breaker. He's got ultimate. Right? But no combo breaker. Keep him propelled as long as possible. The F3 from the Viper to come in it was actually planned to make sure that that point comes in for Jingyu to just push him into a knockback, knock-up state, which gives a free blue focus for SS. And then continued staggers coming up from Jinyu. Ultimate comes out though, regardless. Right? It's an attempt. V1 comes out. Right? It's an attempt to keep the propelled target in in the spot where they wouldn't like to be in. Oichi trying to chase down EG if they can. They will. The enchant went off. V3F. Bow shots to the bow shots. In the kill from SS. Very nice. Don't tell me they have the Sash key for this. Do they have the Sash key for this? What? The whole time. The whole time. Remember, the whole map knows that the Sash is being open, but it's in the zone. So, like, I'm not going to take that fight because what if they have Moonbane, right? But the problem is that we know Wolves' Moonbane was one of 2 between them and FPX. So there's no more Moonbane. So, it's not like ranked mode where you have 4 Moonbanes. You only have 2 in Immortal War. And it's only in the beginning. For the blue banes, as they call it. Jabbing doesn't come out for connection by IG. Holds himself. Okay. This is kind of difficult right now. Oh, there it is. J Team's F1, V1F. We're gonna go back into this fight. We're reviewing this fight. I want to see what happened in the beginning because I want to show you what's up. He's gonna end out in here. 3, 2, 1. Nice double parry actually. Picks up the weapons for teammates. Smart from Baiji. So in Romy Yang fights, a lot of rules are different in the forced engagement because there's no out third party team that could end up being here, right? Like you don't have anyone coming in here and saying, "Hi, my name is Wuchen V1 and this is my team," right? Like you don't have those moments to come into the Romy Yang. In this world, in the Romy Yangs, your fights end up being far different, and it's like the priority list is a lot more crude because Baiji, right, and it also comes down to the player's playstyle. He gets caught into his grapple, or the moment he gets caught into his grapples and he sees Fairy Shen, he sees her in her guys. He's gonna want to use ult here, I think, just to like allow for her F3 not to happen. She actually F3'd right there, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. Let me see if she just jumped. She was looking to try to go for that. Beacon drop was allowed. XY now activates F3. Doesn't hit him. But somewhere amidst all these fights, we can't see it. A Shao and Sleepwalker are putting out. I don't want to explain it. They're putting Zem in a spot where he'd rather not be in, because you can see him activate F3 and rush right towards the beacon drop as he could. And that beacon drop was for XOY to use it defensively for his teammate. But instead, XOY had to use the Fairy Shen ultimate in a spot of aggression for Baiji. You can see it right here. Activates ult. He gets knocked back. He's from a distance. His only way of assisting his teammate in an instantaneous moment, or rather faster than an F3 cast into a shot, is to be able to throw a beacon where Lee could get an R&B for a blue focus, right? And that's huge, especially. But we know that would costly put in the work of a Fury Blast to be, invested. And that's also to the benefit of what XOY was looking for. Either or. The benefit comes out, though, once the beacon pushed out Baiji to not get as much value from that jabbing. so Lee can get ults. But the problem here is this: since the beacon was dropped and we don't know where Zem is, we look towards Zem and he's dying. And if that V3 beacon was saved a little bit, it was held off for a little bit longer. You know, I mean, the thing is that Lee got full armor. He didn't get hit by that jabbing, but Zem was getting fully fought into a whole different fight. He was fighting in the field of 1v2 against a Tumulch and a Zipping Ying, where Tumulch has the combo breaker F. He can get out of situations with lickety split timing. Like, he can just go ahead and F1 and all of a sudden he's in the sky and you can't catch him. You can try to F2 cast recast on him, but if he throws that wisp, catches you through, there's something that can really save you. You can see Zem is getting meter dumped the heck out though from A Shao in the distance. And it's crazy to me to think that A Shao is not even here. You don't see him in the peripherals. He's probably backlined the heck up with the heals, with the V2 being casted. Finds Zem, finds, like, you see the crossbow bolt coming out. Where the heck is A Shao? Yeah, he's right there. You see him on the pillar over there. He's just distancing out. He's being that backline push of there's two big targets, and they're focusing to one of the little targets. They're not focusing one of the backliners, which is probably a dangerous spot to find themselves in. But J Team, the old casting and everything, the positions between their teammates, it just really led up to their loss here to this realm. So kind of go down Baiji to find himself in that 1v2 in a not so bad spot where he's not being blue focused back to back, but it was because he used ultimate early on in Romiang. There's no combatants into Romiang except you and the other team. But in the meantime, White Tiger's prowess buff was picked up. DRG were the ones to pick it up. Nice horizontal from the dual halberds. Wuchen with F2. Remember, this DRG was the F2v1. They haven't gotten any eliminations though yet this round. EWG though, WFZ gets the kill off of 14 from EWG though. It's only one. 9 kills eliminations for OUG though this round. And we see FPX at 6, 8 for JDG. Huge game for JDG. They're looking for WBG though here. Remember, WBG, Sand Siphon comp here this round. They're rocking the Zipping Ying. And Baiji is down. Like, I mean... like, Baiji is low health. Tutty is also low health. Now, this is the same. This is comp versus comp. This is literally comp v comp. Who works best with who? What happens here? How many Fear and Blast can come out before it's too much? Tutty's been revealing the jabbing as much as he could. Baiji also has jabbing. Fear and Blast to deny the heal. You can see Tutty's trying to get it off. Parry was clean, and that's actually a stolen staff. That's a clear position for Baiji to make sure he steals his staff. All right, Baige is like, they call him Baige, so I gotta call him Baige. Tutty has his staff up again. Switches off from that longsword he had. He's trying to get as much jabbings as he can. Longsword can throw the beams. That's great. You know, it's range blue focuses, but the problem is the amount of damage from the jabbing is like, and it's instantaneous. So he's just trying to get as much priority off of that as much. P though, done. Third party from J Team. No. Yeah, third party from J Team. Nice F1 from Tutty, but Zem gets denied the full extent of the tackle. Takes on front right by Lee. F3 from Zem. V3 is ready. He's not using it yet. Takes the time to take one armor powder heal. Now Lee is in ultimate mode for V1. There's a lot of terrain here that would work against him, but he could find Kiki or Tutty off this ridge. There it is. He launches somebody. He launches Sleepwalker. All his armor's gone. No, they find a kill off. No, they find a kill off of A Shao. Why did A Shao drop back in? How did A Shao drop back in? Oh, he wasn't ready. He thought that was probably an R&B. Oh, A Shao felt that one, man, and that's a Vermilion, so they lost XLY though. Romiang depletion is got rid of, except for actually no, it's not rid of. They still have time on it. I think I don't know. Sleepwalker got eliminated. WG are dropping flies somehow, and JDG are now here to clean up crew for J Team's positions. Now this is big from Zem. He's got Takeda on a ridge line, but he had to switch up to Kiki. As we know, Lee is on hands on deck for that. Looks to go for low ground, high ground, mid ground. Tries to find them. Can't find the positions. Teddy has another Fear and Blast to push this one back. Armies are out. Zem has F3, but he can't get to his teammate in time. Then it won't be much for him to really work off of. There it is. But the pushback pushes him off the F3. Armor swap. Not an armor swap, but the heals are coming back out. Army from the fan, just too strong. Uppercut wasn't connection though. You think Teddy's like, I'm gonna just chase this one now, and then says, nah, I'm just gonna go for the loot. Because now another team here, JL, they made their way. They hit the bell. They found everyone. Kiki's at 100 HP. Teddy is losing his armor too. We lose Kiki. Vermilion Burst Might is kicking in for JDG right now too. And they have 11 kills, so they can take this fight. It's not going to really be much of a loss in terms of everything, right? But they did lose. They lost 3 eliminations towards the team. Which also, this team, JL has only 3 eliminations. This is their first day playing, so it just gives them at least some sort of relevance in terms of their standings to catch up. This is only day 2. Day 3 is really going to count for them, where they have to play their double day game for what it's worth if they don't make it past a certain point for the threshold. Now, Baigi is or Baige. Baige is gonna be just fully stacked, man. Like it's not even up for contention. I think right now Baige is the strongest Cadence's lobby right now. Period. Obviously, all right. Gold staff jabbing is one thing, but he's got his cannon, and Cannon Takeda. We saw OUG did it on day 1. Cannon Takeda can work where you just be able to pop off and then build up rage back up like that. And this week is the last week before we have season 12 preparation changes, so we'll have to take a look. There's a Furin. RB doesn't hit. Jabbing is connected. ZK looking for it again. It's a Justina though, so that's why it's going to be looking for a freeze off of Dongqing. Finds no jabbing. Yodohime slash is coming out here, and that's confirmed kill off of Dongqing, and then another one off of Zhao Hu. Beautifully done stagger. Uppercut, trying to see about the procs about the V2 to ping. Gets out from the zone proc. There it is. Freeze is confirmed here as well, and that's going to be it if they can try to get this freeze. There it is. But the third party comes out here. Water gets caught. 800. Wow. Whoa. 800 what? 800 what? From a purple staff? Water wasn't prepared for 800 damaging blue focus like that. He could even hold check him because you saw that Wisp was already thrown. That Wisp was what caused them to worry for the first part. But Wolves finds that turnaround in the zone of all places too. Soul Plume is specifically for Zem though. Get back into the healing circle. Or get back into the circle before the shadow really just starts to hurt. Because you won't get as much healing efficiency. JL making a rain out the ravine from the south side. You can see that coming out from J Team as well as they rotated through the zone. Ice Boomerang Cliff Alliance making their way towards the Roaming Yang there as OUG are in the Serpent's Pass. And in the Snowy Forest is JDG are making their way towards the Roaming Yang if they can, but there's a round. Now they're going to still make their way towards the Roaming Yang, but there's also a Draco Storm, Draco Storm up there. So that's where Alliance is making their way towards, because at this point in time, if you have the kills for it, you know, a Draco Storm this far out, like in terms of the map, it's kind of tough to make usage of it. But if a team like ALL that can sand siphon the way to victory, right? JDG are benefited by the fact that they have purple armor. So one teammate from JL will pick up or ALL will pick up a purple armor and then go right back in if they can. But continuing on, DRG, we know V1 Viper Ning. I don't see a silence on anybody from JL. Wow, that's a Phantom set for FX. He doesn't have ultimate though. VVV hasn't even dropped beacon yet. Where's your beacon, bro? I heard it. I just heard it then. Was VVV silenced the whole time? No, he just... Was he silenced the whole time? Let me see. Where's VVV? Oh, they didn't... Wait, they hit a parry off of him, I'm assuming, right? Oh, they did. Did they? Wait, I can't even see him. No, VVV wasn't parried. VVB didn't take the time. Oh, he wasn't at 100% ult. That's a feels bad. That's actually really feels bad because he was at 95%. So he wasn't able to cast ult, wasn't get the beacon off, wasn't able to iframe through, doesn't have his team to actually really protect him because FX didn't have ult either. TXJ is using his ultimate as a defensive measure, but it wasn't enough timing. V3 slashes come out, FX looks towards the heal. Wushin doesn't get content to R&B just because, space. And FX is trying to get stone farm off if he can, and Wushin picks up the soul bloom. Wushin finds that parry, massive dual blade, halberds, R&B, TXJ just gets eliminated just like that, man. That's tough for JL. Roaming between JDG and W. I mean, the main purpose of this is it was ult. Like the V1 was pretty beneficial if FX didn't have ultimate. It would have been a different story. And TXJ was using his ultimate to try to like iframe through because he knows his team doesn't have ults. Slash number 1 gets a teleport, goes to slash number 2, teleports it again, iframe. TXJ knows how to play Yodohime in and out for those teleports and flashes through Vipers. He was playing under the TE banner when Vipers were making their headway through the V2, or not even V2, but just like with V1 Vipers day in day out. But it is tough to see this team wasn't able to catch through because they didn't have starting ultimates between their person to deny the stun and then the person that can iframe through the stun, like their second and third. Both of them who can iframe through. It just sucks because none of them had the ultimates. But let's take a look at JDG versus WBG into Romiang. Now, who is on Sky Duty right here? All of WBG? Word? For Sand Siphon? All of them? Word. I see A-Shao has a Dragon Roar, so there's that. But PP has a gold pole sword. Excuse me. And Tutty has a gold staff, or a purple staff. We know Tutty has jabbing as well. And then Kiki has blue armor, says Kurumi. And they're all near. Every single one of these enemies are near. I'm not sure why, though. I feel like one person should just stay down on the ground. Gives more reason to hold it down, but A-Shao did not get any value off that Dragon Warrior, the F3. Now, the second one, that Whisk throw, Baige getting, like, sent to the Shadow Realm like that is kind of nuts. Counter ult's coming out here from Sleepwalker, though. Nice jabbing, free hits. Fear and push back, nice jabbing and reveal. Blistering Edge doesn't get hit. Gets a chance again. Huge. Doesn't get any jabbing hits there, man. Wait, Baige didn't get any jabbing hits? Is it because of aim or is it because of the F1 only? Nah, it just didn't hit. It didn't hit the person he needed to hit was Tutty. F1's already out. Nice. So the reason he didn't use blue focus there because he saw Tutty had F1 out. Golden focus from A-Shao hit right at the nick of time because Tutty would have gotten that parry. And you see this neutral LMBs coming out here, but hold check the hex out of Pie Square, and then Kiki as well gets caught. Pistol shot immediate from Sleepwalker. It's really beautiful. That gives him the elimination. Good stuff. Yeah. And then Alliance gets a Draco Storm. OUG already won their Romiang, I think, for this extension, but Draco Storm from Alliance, I'm not sure if they took that. Morris Blessing, it's still late. It was really late. So either OUG made the rotation towards it. I don't know. But WBG picks up White Tiger's prowess. This is kind of... it's not rare, but... the reason Draco Storm is used predominantly is because the damage... damage. It shoots loud lightning bolts, but it's healing over time. The only thing, though, is that White Tiger's prowess has that continuous heal of 25 every single tick. So... if those ticks really start to tick down into the end circle, or even like not to the end circle, but when fights start to really get really bracious, just really brazy, the heal from Zip Ping Ying is 35. And on top of the 25, that means that your team's getting 60 heal per tick. And then in 10 seconds, you already have over half armor. So it really does a number towards it for sustain, but let's say the White Tiger's prowess, what's his biggest benefit? It hard staggers enemies in the vicinity. Meaning that if you get a kill off a target and you get the kill within the vicinity where enemies are around, you will force proc a heavy stagger and deal out 20% of their HP bar at the same time. So if you were able to get that, the caveat on top of that, the icing on the cake is just the defense buffs that you get between ranged and physical or melee resistance. But if you're looking at on the field presence values, that's what that one does. The range game.
其实对于他们来说，目前这个时间点已经是有9个击败分在手，而且自己的装备又不错的情况下，刚刚那种局面。
So JDG are kill leaders, but they lost at Romy Yang. They 11 kills, 9 kill eliminations for OUG, 8 kill eliminations for WBG. WBG and OUG won their realms, and while JDG did lose theirs, they would have to find some sort of chances of coming back here within the next 3 minutes, but we'll have to see. In the meantime, TE versus OUG. OUG with the Draco Storm, you know this. Finding out Leo. Goes straight towards the Yodohime. Very smart, because there is no beacon from Leo. Because of the V3. As Jinyu was fake pressuring the Fairy Shen. Alright, like pushes towards her and then goes straight towards and keeps the tether active by staying. He stayed just a perfect amount of time. So that way there's no beacon drop for Han, and Han wouldn't have been able to use F3 V3 if he needed to. So he kept on to Han. Take out the Yodohime, so you know there's no chance. But now both Transformer ults here. This is where their offensive pressure can turn around, because Jingyu right now one-shottable. Like he is, but SS has ultimate, so he's looking for his ultimate off that bar. Catches both of them. Nice F3 shield. You can see this chase coming out from Leo. Launches into the zone. Enchant's going to come off here. Looks for musket shots as soon as he can through the 3-second enchant. He is the wielder of this Draco Storm too, I think. Right? Ooh. Yeah, yes, he is. Nice parry. Really smart fear from Leo though to get it back off if he can. Those horizontals like a wild haymaker. Tutty looking to try to close in. Remember, JDG, they lost their Romy Yang, so they want to take this as fast as they can. Nice F1 against Jingyu. They need the Soul Bloom. Can't get it. Oh, they got it. Okay, nice. That was for Kiki. Right? Valorant Challenger this early on, huh? I'm about it. Usually you see these teams pick up a Valorant Challenger later down, like super later down, like end circle. We have 2 other Moonbanes before we hit into final circles, but yeah. Ballista coming out here. They can't push this. At least, I mean, you know, they could take the time to do so. I think Tutty has to look towards, you know, not pushing a team with fire arrows, burst arrow, and scatter shot, but it is what it is. It's target lock too, right? So all it takes is a Temi Wisp. Jabbing doesn't connect off the Wuchen. This kind of feels bad. Actually, Tutty goes full throttle here. Got a minute left. Doesn't get a parry opportunity there from the fan. He doesn't want to go. He does not want to go Merciless Havoc, or not Merciless Havoc. Stanchion Sky Cloud, or not Sky Cloud. Rising Cloud. Ballista is gonna give Moonlight a little bit more run for his money. So is JDG. Moonlight finds the Wuchen port though. That's gonna be not north, not east. Maybe south, maybe southwest. Towards that little compound. JG have 40 seconds left. Kiki's the only one without the Romy completion though. Remember that. And now also PP squared. PP doesn't have it either. Tutty's the only person that doesn't have a chance of coming back. So they're gonna go make their way over straight to the reses. Dropping gold immediately, go into the shop, come right back into fights if they can. But Alliance are looking for kills. They find Moonlight. After that tether, or after the Wuchen port, that's going to be the first kill for Alliance here. Has to burn it all. But Lee has common armor. I don't know if anyone saw that. My man had common armor sneaking around underneath the ballista ridge. You see that? Doesn't even have ult. Gold Morris? Is this Gold Morris? Yo, J Team's on the ballista, bro. We're Lions. You don't have it. Oh wait, you are the Temmie. But why? Oh, he's gonna depend on the F1 to guard him. Holy smokes! The fact that J Team isn't even using the ballista here is kind of atrocious. That's crazy. Nice Moonbane though from the game. That's actually no. That's the reason the whole time the Moonbane. 3, 2, 1. Nah, there's no way. Moonbane's out of the vicinity of it. J Team gets pushed off the no. Yeah, it looks like that Moonbane is griefing them to be able to shoot a lane from picking up the gold armor. You know, it's funny during the NBPL castings, I was thinking about Thunder Robot, like, you know, clips and highlights brought to you by Thunder Robot. It's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I don't think I need to say their phrase, right? Pretty sure I don't. Back to the gameplay though. Wolves 6 kill eliminations, not bad in the middle ground right now for leaderboard for this round. 17 players total, 14 on the opposition for Wolves. So you know it's still more to kind of grasp as a snowball comp. You're really looking to try to give a reason for the Wu-Chen to ult. Because the moment you see the Wu-Chen force to ult, then you can do whatever you want. V3 Vipers if they are, and if they aren't, then it's just up to you. Yeah, Baige has a lot of gear towards his name. J Team rushing out. I see bounce shells. I don't like it. I don't like bounce shell because it can really grief your proximity shots. Because sometimes bounce shell says, oh, when it's nearby from insta kill against Kiki from Wolves. When bounce shell says it blows up nearby opponents, even then I wouldn't take it. Like maybe there's a chance though for Takedas to actually take full benefit off of it, because Takedas would really have a good time of just push back and get double cannon hit with Rupture Gale and those burns. But we saw Zem get eliminated there. ZK looking to push past A shot from WBG as WBG 90 kills. Nice. JG with 14 kills. And it's funny too because we know that somewhere along the lines they were looking for getting the res off of Tutty, but they weren't able to, I guess, because now that Kiki's gone, it's like, oh, that could be a reason. Nice LMB and then jump LMB. Oh, let's talk about that. Grapple, stagger, jump LMB, into crouch LMB, LMB shift. Trying to look for EG. I don't know, man. He's trying to go for that stanchion. Not gonna happen. Or not stanchion. The storm stride hits. Final Moonbane into the game. Yeah, Baige's gonna be looking to try to just run around his body and see what he can pick up. Goes for the twin shot bounce shell against J Team here. Proximity shots are, like I said, like they're difficult because if they're not there, then they can actually just dodge out. Takes a soul bloom just in case if J Team wants, or J Team if anyone else wanted to pick it up. Hexa Harmony Spear though, that's revealed. Gets out of the Moonbane. Spoken too soon. He regroups with XLY, but a Flame Breath from lane was all it's needed. Baige needs to look towards his ultimate if he can. Phoenix Blast to try to protect his teammate with the range shots as it comes out. I think Zem losing XLY here, or even with Lee losing XLY here, is a big loss in terms of end game potential. The only thing that's going to give him a chance of surviving is not for poke necessarily, but just for survival. It's just his ultimate alone. Because the fact that he lost his Variation, the beacon drop, that would have been forced pressure that can hit from range, but Pi Squared is down. Nice cannon shot against Baige. Who died? You? Yeah, buddy. That's my hero. Oh, bounce shot. See, that's the part. That's a Wu-Chen shields are the easiest example of that, where Wu-Chen shields can just thunk. Because Wu-Chen shields, I mean, I'm not sure if it blows up in proximity of enemy targets, but you know, just the bounce shot gives increased damage, but the twin shot really just it lowers the damage outright. So you have to hit both cannon shots for it to have full value. Which isn't that much difficult, but then when you hit Meteor, oh, okay, no, that's when you're really trolling. Xingyu forces F3 so he can get a mitigation here. Yes, he's getting group heal from his teammates. Catches Assassin's Lunge on Lane. Lane's got to get Conti a chance. If he uses ultimate here, now's a chance. Nope. Decides to just hold off while Revenge is poking these guys out. Because he knows there's a third party right behind them and trying to go for that kill, and they can't. Xingyu is somewhere. I'm not sure. There he is, rooftop. There's a lot of buildings here. This is where Tumult could possibly work out the best. 100%. But there's only 2 Tumultuous in the game still. We still have WBGs and alliances. So between Lane and Sleepwalker. This is tough. Meteor shots and the meteor shots. Burst arrow. Burst arrow, and that's a fire arrow one, so they know that the revenge is the enemy team has the burst arrow, scatter shot, fire arrows, and target lock. Xingyu's down here. Revenge find it. Jump LB spam. Supplies 3 to 7, 3 to 6 now. All right, he finds more from the body. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. And this is where Valiant Challengers can be used really to great benefit, because now you know where the enemy team is at all times. Well, let me rephrase that. Valiant Challenger gives you a ping every 15 seconds, and for 5 seconds you can look through the walls and see them. You know? So every 5 seconds you can see through the walls of where they're at, complete position marks. The new changes they added for those markers to be highlighted yellow and then or highlighted red gives a really strong chance of just like position locking in, because you see it on your field. Like you can see the red moving around, but the moment that those yellow red marker shows up, then it's perfect, because you know you see exactly where they are or where they're last seen. Baiji really rocking the house by pushing into this. There's a Phoenix Blast down. Pushbacks. R&Bs might give Alliance his kill though. I'm not sure. This is last second kills to be made just for the chase down. It all came down from that all started out with that catalyst was from Baige. I'm not sure if he wanted to do that. I mean, the WBG has 11 eliminations, and they didn't pick up a single kill, as Aisha was the last one to kind of be surviving for a second. They still have Sleepwalker just hiding out though. So really just now it's really placement. Like OUG also. And Sleepwalker gets out of the zone, finds ZK. I'm pretty sure OUG, I think Yu is somewhere. Yeah, he's up there in the sky using F3 to keep himself, but gets caught in grapples as well. And ZK finds the spot that Sleepwalker was hiding previously. Phoenix Blast from Lane here, jump R&B. Bo finds elimination. Alliance packing in these eliminations like nothing. Nice freeze. Nice double chance. ZK goes to the sky. This is gonna be tough for you if he wants to survive this, but he's got 11 grapples. His F3's up for mitigating out. Goes straight through. Might look for the tree. Gets counter grapple. Gets burned. He's not gonna live here for long. He uses all his dashes. All it takes now is a burn from a flame breaker from Lane, and that's gonna be it. And the ultimate cast comes out. Lane finds himself in the spot. F2 from ZK burn. That's gonna kill. We know that Alliance is picking up these kills like nothing, man. 10 kills, 11 kills, or 10 kills possibly here to 11. So yeah, Sleepwalker's the last one. And that will give them MVP. It should give them MVP. If JDG gets MVP from those 3 kills, I don't know. But multipliers, placement like that, that should be an MVP round for these boys. And it is. So let's take a look at the scene about the Jades and MVP stuff. How fast do they do it here? How fast do they do it? There we go. Okay, cool. That seems to be the same. So Alliance is first place. They got 11 kills in first. So WBG was second. And they got 2.5 ranking points. But with 11 kills and placement points in general, they got 19.4. Capping past. JDG got third, though. Even though they got, like, fourth place. Fifth place. Fifth or sixth. In terms of ranking placement, they still find multipliers to work through for their 17.8 total, and then 17.6 for OUG, while Wolves has 10.6, 7.5 for FPX, DRG was 6.5, 5.1 for J Team, TU 4.9, 3.8 for JL, and then 3 for EWG. And I mean, going back over this into these fights, right? Like BBE in the beginning, they spawned into the heart of Tang, and they were up against EWG. But they weren't able to succeed in that fight, and then they're on therefore. And then after those 3 eliminations for EWG, something went through where EWG just gets eliminated completely. I think that's actually right here. Either that or we don't see it. Yeah, off of the Plume Castle fight, because you're able to see how much pressure this team was kind of going off on, of just catching out 14. Where Wushin's like, bump it. We're still chasing this. And these guys have, DRG has White Tiger's prowess. So the moment they get a kill, it affects. And as they got kills back to back, there goes 14. Like, they just be able to stagger and keep the duration going. But this is the first kill for DRG into this lobby. And then they ended up with 5 kills total by the end, where they catch 6th place or 5th. And they got 5.5 with a 1.1 multiplier. So it's all good. And MVPs are here. Revenge, Bow, Lane, Ford 416, 10k, 13k, or 10k healing, 13k damage, and 12k damage from Lane. Now, like, keep in mind, these the Lions had 0 kills, even to the extension of Boomerang Cliff. When we saw them passing by the Romy Yang, they passed by the Romy Yang, and I think they were making their way towards the Moore's Blessing. You can see it coming from this side, and that Draco Storm is like there. But then JDG shows up to the Romy Yang. But they get Draco Storm, and then you can see it coming off from OUG as well. So I think OUG got a free roam as a result. Big time. But in our standings have this for top 6. OUG is at the top, of course, because first day game was 135 is nuts. 153.4 total, 79.5 for DRG, 65.1 for WBGJ team in third with 59.8, 58.5 for BBE, FPX at 57.6. JJH, ooh, hey, how's it going? JJH at 19.1 so far. They're not playing today, but we do have JDG and Wolves with 17.8, 10.6, 4.9 for TE. 3.8 for JL. That's actually bottom 6. Middle 6. GG aren't playing today. Bowder's not playing today. XG nor 521 KLA. But Alliance are 19.4 for day 1. For first game, I should say. Pretty great overall for a first game. And especially to kind of cap into the top 12. That's the mission here, right? Try to get to the top 12. Get to finals. Perform their best there as well. On top of the best. So they'll have to fight that, but we'll have to see how this ends up here for round 2 because we're going to Hollow Rock Cloudy. So with that, my name's Severio, and I appreciate you guys for taking the time here. Hopefully this format works a lot better. If you like the sound, be from the game, be it from commentators that aren't, that way there's not cross communication. If you guys don't mind the English commentators on top of the audio, then it is what it is. But that way it's a better chance for you to understand what I'm, like between English and a language that's not the same, where it's like easier to keep track of. But with that being said, shout out to Raven for providing said link towards the Billy Billy page where I was able to find it directly. And yeah, with that being said, thank you guys again. I'll see you on the flip side. Peace.